AC/DC is a band, which means they sell CDs you can listen to. That means you can listen to a AC/DC CD. AC/DC stands for alternating current direct current. So the music made by AC/DC would classify as AC/DC. So you can listen to an AC/DC CD. But there's a boombox called a CFD. So if you were to use it to listen to AC/DC, you would be listening to an AC/DC CD on a CFD. But if you did this in a KFC, you would be listening to an AC/DC CD on a CFD in KFC. KFC stands for Kentucky Fried Chicken, which you eat at KFC. So you would be listening to an AC/DC CD on a CFD in a KFC eating KFC. If this were to happen on this plane, that had a KFC on board, so you would be listening to an AC/DC CD on a CFD in KFC eating KFC on a 380. Let's say your flight was headed to Washington, D.C., often referred to as D.C. You therefore would be listening to an AC/DC CD on a CFD in a KFC eating KFC on a 380 headed to D.C. But let's say you are watching a movie CD in the format of 3D. So you would be listening to an AC/DC CD on a CFD in a KFC eating KFC on a 380 headed to DC watching a movie CD in 3D. But let's say you are also playing Halo 3. And the year is 3003. So that means you would be listening to an AC/DC CD on a CFD in a KFC eating KFC on a 380 headed to DC and watching a movie CD in 3D playing Halo 3, that is to D in 3003. But you are also listening to Casa D. That came out in 1993. So finally you would be listening to an AC/DC CD on a CFD in KFC eating KFC on a 380 headed to DC and watching a movie CD in 3D and playing Halo 3, that is to D in the year 3003, while also listening to Casa D that came out in 1993.
Madness. I can't take it anymore. Eating a burger with no honey mustard. Eating a burger with no honey mustard. Eating a burger with no honey mustard.